Helium is one of the most widely adopted crypto projects today. Many people benefiting from it don't even realize they are using crypto. It's trying to solve the internet problem that most of us have experienced at some point, maybe at a stadium, a music festival, an airport, or even inside a mall. Your phone shows full signal, yet messages don't send, payments don't go through, and nothing loads. We often blame the telecom carrier we have been using. But what if I told you this is not simply a bad carrier problem? To understand this, we first need to look at how mobile networks work. When you use mobile internet, your phone connects to nearby cell towers. Today, we use 4G and 5G networks to get faster speed and a smoother online experience. These networks work in high-frequency bands where signals don't travel as far. They don't pass through walls easily and get blocked by buildings, glass, trees, and even dense crowds. This is why your internet often collapses in crowded places. The only solution to this problem is denser infrastructure, that is, more cell towers placed closer to each other. Now the obvious question is, why don't telecoms just build more towers? The answer is they do. Telecom companies have spent hundreds of billions of dollars buying spectrum, building towers, laying fiber, and upgrading networks. Today, the US has 500,000 plus cell towers, but it still isn't enough for reliable, high-speed, high-frequency coverage that people need today. Plus, building every new cell site is expensive. A single site can easily cost $250,000 or more to set up, and cost is only half the problem. They also need to negotiate with property owners to build towers, permission from local authorities, zoning approvals, and on top of all of this, face resistance from residents who don't want infrastructure near their homes. And all of this can take months or even years sometimes. So overall, technically more cell towers definitely work, but economically they are brutal. They cannot build it everywhere instantly and profitably, and that is the real crisis. So after years of research, carriers found a workaround. Instead of sending all mobile internet traffic through expensive cellular towers, why not shift some of this burden to Wi-Fi or broadband? Most people use mobile internet indoors. Homes have Wi-Fi, offices have Wi-Fi, malls, airports, hotels, all of them have Wi-Fi. And indoors is where cellular towers lack the most. So instead of forcing every user through these congested towers, carriers started offloading traffic onto Wi-Fi networks. This is called carrier offload. To put it more simply, imagine you're at a concert or an airport. Your phone shows 5G, so naturally you assume you're connected to a tower. But behind the scenes, because of heavy traffic, some of that internet may actually be managed through a Wi-Fi hotspot installed at the venue. Nothing changes for you. The network simply uses a more efficient path to manage the traffic. And that's what carrier offload is. Hold on. You might be thinking, if mobile networks get congested, won't Wi-Fi also get congested? Good question. Both Wi-Fi and cellular work very differently. When you use mobile data, your phone sends signals to a nearby cell tower. That tower is part of your carrier's network. And that same tower may be serving thousands of users at the same time. So when too many people try to use the same network together, congestion builds up and everyone suffers together. Wi-Fi works differently. Your phone still connects wirelessly, but only for a very short distance, usually to a nearby router or hotspot installed in your home. After that, your internet traffic moves through cables installed by your internet service provider and ultimately to the network. That's a huge difference because now your traffic is no longer using the same cellular tower. Another important point is Wi-Fi signals travel only short distances. You have probably experienced this yourself. When you move too far away from your router at home, the signal starts getting weaker. Because each Wi-Fi network covers only a small area, the same frequencies can be reused again and again in nearby homes, offices, and buildings. So instead of one cell network serving everyone, with Wi-Fi offload, you have thousands of smaller networks sharing the load. This makes Wi-Fi much easier to scale and reduces the burden on cellular towers. But there was still one big problem. Wi-Fi offload is fragmented. Today, Wi-Fi exists almost everywhere. The challenge is that it is owned and managed by thousands of different entities. Some are owned by hotels, some by airports, malls, or different private businesses. So if a carrier wants to offload traffic in different locations, it needs to have separate partnerships, integrations, and commercial agreements with each one of them. One mall may have an agreement with AT&T, so its users may get a better internet experience than the users of other carriers. So the experience can vary depending on both your carrier and your location. This is what creates fragmentation. We can see this in different airports and venues too. So this makes it extremely hard to scale. This is the gap Helium and one of its close competitors, XNet, are trying to solve. Instead of negotiating individually with each Wi-Fi operator, they create a shared network that anyone can join, individuals, businesses, and venues. All they need to do is either install a Helium or XNet hardware or integrate the network with their existing broadband device. Whenever there is heavy internet traffic, on the backend, carriers will use these hotspots to manage traffic without the user ever realizing it. In return, the hotspot operators earn rewards whenever real data is transferred. The more they are located in a high traffic area, the more rewards they can make. With these networks, telecoms can manage traffic seamlessly and pay based on only actual usage without having the burden of large capital expenditure or separate agreements. To compare the two, Helium is taking a more open and community-driven approach. Anyone can buy and install a Helium hotspot or use an existing device. A homeowner, a shop owner, or any cafe, anyone can do it, while XNet is focused on more B2B partnerships. Rather than allowing anyone, its focus is on high-value locations like airports, hotels, stadiums, basically the places where cellular networks struggle the most. So Helium is more open and community-driven, while XNet is more enterprise-focused. Both are solving the same problem, but very different strategies, and they are both widely adopted by carriers today, like AT&T, T-Mobile, and Telefonica. Anytime a new venue, say a stadium, is opened, rather than telecoms chasing to collaborate with the venue itself can simply integrate either XNet or Helium and start earning rewards, while telecoms can easily manage the excess load. This is a win-win for all the stakeholders involved. Users get better internet connectivity, carriers get a cheaper and more scalable way to manage traffic, while hotspot operators get an opportunity to earn passive income. So far, the model works well, but there are some challenges which need to be addressed. The first one is incentives. Because the network depends on installations by thousands of operators, if they don't earn enough in return, they will stop participating. And that's already become a discussion in Helium's community. Some operators have complained that despite traffic being routed through their hotspot, the rewards don't always feel transparent or proportional. And this is a big concern, because if hotspot operators become unhappy, they may remove existing hardware, and that weakens coverage. This becomes a real problem for telecoms depending on that infrastructure. Economic coordination is a challenge with most decentralized physical networks today. And then there's another risk. Whenever rewards are involved, people try to exploit the system. Fake deployments, inaccurate locations, artificial traffic generation just to generate more rewards. So decentralized verification becomes critical. The network has to constantly verify, is this hotspot actually real? Is traffic legitimate? Is the location genuine? Because if bad actors gain the system, carriers lose trust immediately. And without carrier trust, this model doesn't survive. So the long-term success of this model depends on three things. Can they maintain quality? Can they keep their operators happy? And can they prove to telecoms that this model is reliable at scale?